First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
A string of local burglaries is solved in an unusual way. The details on that coming up.
A local teen's dream trip turns into a nightmare, and his mother is sharing his story.
Deputies and officers made it extremely clear to him that if he continued toward that occupied building, that he would be shot.
The latest details on a deadly standoff between law enforcement and a local teenager. That's our top story this March 21st. I'm Marie Edinger.
And I'm Taylor Trichet. Thanks for joining us. Investigators were at the scene of a deadly shooting that happened late last night involving the Alachua County Sheriff's Office and the Gainesville Police Department and a teenager with a replica assault rifle. WUFT's Haley Zagacki is live at Majestic Oaks Apartments where it all happened. Haley, what do you know so far?
Well, the crime scene tape and crews might be gone now, but residents here at Majestic Oaks are still left with a lot of questions. I'm standing near one resident's front porch where he told me that he watched officers hide behind his white truck behind me and repeatedly warned Robert Dentman, who is standing over there near that tree in white car, to put his weapon down and step away. And in the past few hours, we've learned that the gun Dentman was holding was not a real weapon. It was a replica of an assault rifle. Residents watched as crime scene units from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement combed the scene of last night's deadly shooting between Robert Dentman and law enforcement. At around 10 p.m. last night, ACSO officers responded to a 911 call from Dentman saying he was walking around the complex with a rifle and was ready to shoot himself. Several units from both ACSO and GPD did not know it was a replica gun at the time and attempted to communicate with Dentman, repeatedly urging him to put his weapon down. A GPD spokesman said the officers had no other choice but to shoot.
Witnesses are telling us that they did hear those verbal commands that he would be shot if he continued towards the occupied building. The subject ignored those commands and continued near the building. The officers had no other option but to utilize deadly force to stop him.
The video of the shooting was posted on Facebook. I have watched it, and you can hear law enforcement officers repeatedly shouting, quote, "Drop it now or you will be shot," and "You cannot get to a building where you are going to hurt somebody," before they open fire. Right now I'm standing in the spot where 16-year-old Robert Denton was fatally shot last night. And just a few feet away, you can see cars like this one that were hit by bullets aimed for Dentman. One resident watched from his apartment and said he heard the commands and the bullets flying.
After a while, you heard just a lot of shots at one time. It was, I don't know the right word to use, but it was like as if you were watching a war movie and you just ran into something, or they ran into something that they didn't expect.
But other residents at Majestic Oaks aren't too sure firing was the right option.
It was crazy. I mean,
no, I seen the sister trying to talk to him one time. I felt like they should have let the sister holler at him, but she was standing in front of the J building trying to tell them to put the gun down. I guess they didn't let her talk. I feel like that was up because the sister could have got him, put the gun down. I guess.
The investigation into this officer-related shooting has been turned over to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. ACSO and GPT will also have their own investigations. Reporting from Majestic Oaks, Haley Zagacki, WUFT News.
All right, thanks so much, Haley. And in Marion County last week, the sheriff's office investigated a middle school student accused of trying to sneak an assault rifle out of his house to confront bullies at school.
Lauren Bromfield joins us now in the studio with more about the replicas and the real thing ending up in the hands of teenagers.
Taylor, Marie, the specifics to both of these incidences are still under investigation, but it's a fundamental question in gun incidences involving children. Where did they get it? Assault rifles may be more common than you think, with some media outlets labeling the America's gun.
It's what the military uses as their battle rifle.
And the AR-15 has become one of the best-selling weapons in the country. CNBC says dozens of manufacturers make the rifle and sell hundreds of thousands a year. For those who want a realistic prop, replicas are available online for $120, but a genuine AR-15 may cost an adult $800 or more.
We encourage that everybody lock up their guns because these weapons can change a life in a second.
The NRA has said the assault rifle can be useful for training, target practice, hunting, and self-defense. Gun store owner Jack Pickett agrees that proper handling, gun education, and gun safety is critical.
If your home has minors inside the home, they should be locked up. Now, there's no legal requirement for them to be locked up. But if that minor hurts himself or someone else, the parent is both criminally and civilly liable.
He couldn't speak for parents today, but he remembers growing up without a gun safe in the house, knowing not to mess with his parents and his older brother's guns, and gun safety being a family tradition.
Thanks, Lauren. A Lake City man is dead after an argument turned into a domestic brawl. Lake City police officers say 39-year-old Christopher Roy was found unconscious when they arrived. Witnesses say the suspect, 27-year-old Mario Brinson, punched the victim in the face once, causing him to lose consciousness. Then Brinson got on top of Roy and hit him several more times. Police performed CPR on Roy for more than half an hour until he was flown to a Gainesville hospital. Brinson was initially charged with aggravated battery, but is now facing manslaughter charges after Roy was removed from life support.
Well, Marie, it was certainly a surprise when I stepped outside this morning. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this cold weather.
Well, bundle up because it's going to be even colder tonight. Frost advisories are in effect for parts of North Florida tonight. UF forecaster Amanda Hawley joins us now from the Weather Center. Amanda, where are those advisories in effect, and how low are those temperatures going to get tonight?
And like you said, it was a very cold day as well. Temperatures right now are still holding in the lower 60s, and really we didn't get much above that this afternoon. Tonight, though, they will be falling into the mid-30s, and here in the white shaded areas, that's where those frost advisories are in effect. So this might not be a big deal during the wintertime. Well, it just started spring a couple days ago, so you might have already planted those plants. You certainly will want to take action and cover those up before you go to bed tonight, especially if you live in the area shaded in white there. Temperatures will be falling into the mid-40s by midnight, but with clear skies and those winds out there dying down this afternoon, they're going to fall into the mid-30s by the time you step out the door Tuesday morning. 35 is our low here in Gainesville, 34 in the outlying more cooler areas out there. So certainly take some bundle up when you head out the door as well, because it'll be chilly out there. Marie and Taylor, back to you.
All right, thanks, Amanda. History was made in Cuba today as President Obama and President Raul Castro met in Havana. Brushing off decades of distrust, Obama and Castro shook hands in Havana's Palace of the Revolution. Jay Gray is in Havana with a closer look at what leaders discussed.
President Obama's first full day in Cuba began in Revolution Square as he laid a wreath at one of the nation's most important monuments, the statue of Cuban poet Jose Marti. Following the brief ceremony, the president waved off his limousine, walking the 3 blocks or so from the memorial to the Revolutionary Palace, where he was officially welcomed by Cuban President Raul Castro. During that reception, one of the most stunning sights and sounds of this historic trip. President Obama, hand over heart as a Cuban band played America's national anthem. Following a brief review of the troops, the leaders moved behind closed doors for bilateral talks described as productive by President Obama.
For more than half a century, the sight of a U.S. president here in Havana would have been unimaginable. But this is a new day. Es un nuevo día between our two countries.
The men discussed a wide range of topics, including human rights, easing travel restrictions, and the trade embargo that's been in place for more than 50 years. Something former Commerce Secretary Carlos Gutierrez, a Cuban American, once supported, but now says should change.
And the sanctions we have on Cuba are stricter than anything we have anywhere in the world. Think about that. That's amazing.
Amazing or increíble? Words you hear quite a bit during this historic visit. Jay Gray, NBC News, Havana, Cuba.
And back in America's capital, an annual gathering in Washington has become a natural target for those with complaints about Israel and U.S. support for the country. And a Gainesville student just got a first-hand lesson about crowds of angry protesters. WUFT's Kelsey Sanchez has that story.
The trip of a lifetime turned scary for a local high schooler. Blake Burge, a senior at Gainesville High, was one of 18 students nationwide selected to participate at AIPAC, the annual conference for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Blake was excited to go after doing local political work for Governor Rick Scott's re-election in 2014. But after one meeting yesterday in D.C., he did not expect what came next.
I wasn't necessarily scared at first about the protest, but then when I was trying to exit the building and the police had to shut the doors and everything, I felt a little threatened.
Blake recorded video of the conference protesters once he was safe outside the convention center. The close encounter with hundreds of angry protesters was worrisome for Blake's family here in Gainesville.
I said, did anybody say, hey, be advised and take care? Because these protesters, they're angry, you know, they can throw things, they might have knives. I didn't know what. And he said, no, nobody had mentioned it.
Donna Burge has faith Blake will be safe for the rest of his time at AIPAC. Hillary Clinton spoke at the conference today, and Donald Trump is scheduled this evening. Blake plans to travel home tomorrow. Kelsey Sanchez, WUFT News.
The Palestinian Right to Return group organized yesterday's protest, with marchers calling Israel a terror state. Donald Trump's appearance this evening could draw protesters who accuse him of using hate speech during the campaign. Some Jewish groups have been talking about a walkout.
Gainesville fire departments may be responding to 911 calls faster if a proposed alert system upgrade is put in place. The Gainesville City Commission has approved negotiations for a new fire department alert system. The interface connects dispatchers to the fire departments and alerts the station of emergencies and where to respond. The outdated system will be replaced with a digital one, which includes response time clocks and improved alert tones to help reduce stress levels of the firefighters.
It's really important for us to be able to have as streamlined of a system as possible to be able to get us there to the trucks as quickly as possible so we can respond, because, you know, as you know, every second counts with an emergency, whether it's EMS or fire. So anything that we can do to help increase our rapid response times is be better.
The fire departments hope to have the new system in place by the end of this fiscal year in September. The upgrade is expected to cost about $488,000. A string of burglaries in Levy County robbed some families of their sense of security, but thanks to the community's help, the victims have now found some peace of mind. WUFT's Allison Valdez joins us from our newsroom. Allison, we've learned that the crimes were potentially solved rather quickly.
Yes, Taylor. It was actually a unique print left at the scene that helped investigators find a suspect. And with local help, they say they have the smoking gun.
3 burglaries in 3 weeks, all within a 1-mile radius. The burglar taking not just the victim's belongings, but also their sense of security.
And, you know, that first night, of course, all the kids camped out in our room. We had a big sleepover in the room. They was a little bit nervous about it, but
The thief broke into the homes. In this case, he used a yard tool to pry open the patio door. He took jewelry and other valuables, but left behind something important that led police straight to him. It was a unique print that investigators say matched the prosthetic leg belonging to William Bennett.
they happened to find a shoe print, from what I understand, matched up with one of the shoe prints from one of the other local houses that had been burglarized.
This is the home where the second robbery took place. Detectives were here investigating that unique footprint, but what happened next is what really led them to their suspect.
And we were asking, should property come in either described as such or in the combination of this, give us a call and let us know. That did occur, and as a result of that, our investigators were able to put eyes on the 2 people.
A local second-hand metal store contacted the sheriff's office, and within 15 minutes, they had Bennett and his accomplice. A speedy resolution that helped them recover almost all of the stolen items. They say it's a rare occurrence that wouldn't have happened without the help of the community.
If it had not been for the cooperative nature of our local businesses, this case may have gone unsolved.
You know, it's a small community, everybody knows each other. We talk, we look out for each other's things, we look out for each other. I think the community being small, to me, I wouldn't want to wouldn't want it any other way.
Bennett is currently being held at the Levy County Detention Facility, where he is charged with burglary and grand theft. His bond has been set at $375,000. Reporting from the newsroom, Allison Valdez, WUFT News.
Thanks, Allison. WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, we'll take a look at Hollywood and this week's box office hits.
Plus, Gator football opens up Week 3 spring practice. We'll hear from Coach McElwain, and those stories and more coming up.
And today was probably shockingly cold for some of you. We're well below average after this weekend's cold front. Right now we're sitting right around 65 degrees outside and clear skies. Coming up, I'll tell you how long this cold will last.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back, and we're taking a turn now to entertainment. Crystal Bailey's here to tell us about the latest in the box office and also some local entertainment.
Yeah, we heard you got to go to a show on UF's campus.
Yes, I did do a pretty cool event this weekend, but before I get to that, I have some news about Madonna. A child custody battle between Madonna and her ex, Guy Ritchie, is moving to the U.S. People magazine reports a judge in London today ruled that a New York judge should decide on the case involving the custody over their 15-year-old son, Rocco. They have been in a dispute over where the teen should live, and the British judge is now letting the U.S. judge make a decision. And UF welcomed another pair of up-and-coming music stars to campus last week. The University of Florida has hosted celebrities like DJ Khaled, Bo Burnham, and Hunter Hayes. Performances by these stars have attracted many students and the Gainesville public. WFT's Olivia Courtney sat down with Olivia Hayes, and he says a lot of good things about the Gator Nation.
The interesting and the fun stuff about doing so many college campuses has been nothing is the same night to night.
The next big star to come to UF will be Comedy Central comedian and Daily Show host Trevor Noah. Gainesville can expect to see him next Wednesday at 8 p.m. The event will be open to the public for free. And then there's more classic fare. Friday and Saturday, the Phillips Center was packed with audiences who enjoyed a musical story from Adam and Eve all the way to Armageddon.
This evening is our last performance of the season.
Carmina Burana is a scenic cantata told based on medieval poems. The piece is known for its dramatic historic significance, composed with Latin lyrics. Student musicians, local choir members, and the dancers from Dance Alive National Ballet told stories like Adam and Eve through their performance.
The orchestra's down in the pit, and the choir, we're just sort of off on the wings a little bit just for atmosphere, but the dancers are really the focus, and they're incredible.
It was a special night for both the Dance Alive company and also student performers.
You get a lot from just the students' energy. I mean, it's something that we're all really excited to get to perform for people, so I hope they can just draw that energy out of it.
The Latin-style performance has been done locally before, but this is the first time in 4 years since the last performance.
The Disney animated film Zootopia was #1 again at the box office. Zootopia earned $38 million in its third week, earning a total of $201 million here in the United States. The film is about a city of animals where the heroes are solving a mystery. And the third part of the Divergent book-turned-movie series Allegiant was released this weekend and made $29.1 million. It tells the story of the first half of the third novel by Veronica Roth. Allegiant fell short of the earnings from the first two movies in the series. And coming in third place was Miracles from Heaven, a faith-based movie starring Jennifer Gardner and Queen Latifah, which earned $15 million. The plot follows a mother and her family as they fight for the health of their sick child.
You know, seeing the preview for Allegiant made me kind of remember that I really meant to watch Divergent. Now I think I might have to binge all of them.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the second, but I do want to see the third. So
I might have to join you on that binge watching endeavor because I too have not seen them. All right, thank you, Crystal.
All right, Amanda told us about that frost headed our way, and it looks like I'll be bundled up with some hot chocolate tonight.
Tonight's the night to do it, though, because Amanda tells us that cold won't last. Amanda, what should we expect these next couple of days?
Well, the next couple of days are going to be kind of quiet in terms of the weather, but they're going to be cold tonight. Then we're going to see a warming trend begin starting tomorrow. So certainly this is the night if you need to bundle up and eat that hot chocolate, you can do so, because this could be the last frost possible that we see for quite a while, until the next season anyway. I think the best chances that we could see that frost is the Suwannee River Valley and the I-10 corridor, all before 8 o'clock in the morning, but that frost advisory is in effect until 9 a.m. for parts of North Florida tonight. But high pressure is returning. That's what brought us those sunny skies today, but it will start to bring us warmer afternoons starting tomorrow and last last through Thursday. And then guess what? We've got another unsettled weekend pattern ahead. We're seeing a similar situation set up to this weekend as what we saw last weekend starting Friday with rain chances in the forecast. Currently, though, it's pretty chilly out there. 60s all across North Florida, 63 in Gainesville, 64 down in Ocala. And we have that frost advisory in effect, like I said. I wanted to show it to you again. The area shaded in white here are where we could see frost tonight. So if you've already planted plants for springtime, you'll want to make sure you cover them up before you head to bed tonight because those temperatures will be falling into the mid-30s. Here's your hour by hour for tonight. 42 by 2 a.m., hitting the 30s by 4 a.m. Clear skies and the breezy conditions out there, those are going to be dying down. That's what's really going to allow this frost to form across North Florida. 35 is our low here in Gainesville. 34 in those outlying lower areas where we could expect that frost to really form tonight. I don't think we could see it here in the city. It'll be a little bit too warm, but certainly in those rural areas. Now, drier air has returned, and that's thanks to that high pressure, like I said. And it's going to continue to filter into north central Florida as we're in this nice pocket of some drier air. So that'll continue to filter in, and it's certainly evident here on this live cam with clear skies out there, 63 degrees, and about an 8-mile-an-hour wind out of the northwest, continuing to filter in that colder air. But that'll stop Tuesday afternoon as we hit this up the mid-70s, 73 for a high in Gainesville, 75 down in Ocala, noticeably warmer and less breezy. By Wednesday morning, we'll still be a little bit warmer out there than we will start off on Tuesday. 46 for a morning low, 46 in Ocala. Still below average, though. Our average low, 51 degrees for right now. Our average high is right around 75. So starting Wednesday, we'll go back to above average here, but not until Thursday will we go back to above average for our morning lows. So for the next 6 days, enjoy the next 3. They'll be dry and hitting the mid-80s on Thursday. But come Friday, that's when our next front comes in. Those rain chances start to increase as well, and they last through the weekend. So prepare yourselves. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Now, it's always great to be a Florida Gator, right? But there's probably never been a better time to be a Gator on the diamond.
Both the top-ranked Florida baseball and softball teams took part in SEC series over the weekend. Sports anchor Connor Ingalls joins us now.
That's right. Both were pretty successful. That's not really a surprise at this point, but both did have some issues they'll need to work through going forward. I'll show you what Kevin O'Sullivan had to say about his pitcher giving up a 4 spot in 1 inning yesterday. That and more coming up in sports after the break. In a row for #1 Gator baseball, and they still haven't lost at home this season. Welcome back to sports. I'm Connor Ingalls. The 3 latest wins coming this weekend as Florida swept Missouri. Safe to say the Gators sent a message to the SEC in their conference opening series. In Sunday's finale, Buddy Reed was the star. He went 3 for 4 on the day with 2 RBI. Coming on this slam out to left. That was Reed's 2nd homer of the season. Alex Faedo moved to 5-0 on the mound this year in getting the win. Faedo tossed 9 strikeouts, but he did struggle, giving up 4 runs in the 6th. However, head coach Kevin O'Sullivan is more pleased with the good he showed than the bad, including a changeup pitch.
For me, even though it's 5 runs over 6, I look at it totally differently. That 5 innings were outstanding, and he's now got that 3rd pitch that against lefties now, and that's really going to help him moving forward. He threw his change more today than he did throughout the whole course of his career.
The Gators get right back to the MAC tomorrow when they host FAU at 7. Gator softball, also the #1 team in the country, was equally impressive on the diamond this weekend. They swept the Tennessee Vols. Kelsey Stewart was the star of Game 3. She was responsible for all 3 of Florida's runs, scoring on a passed ball in the 3rd and singling in 2 runs in the 5th. 3 runs on only 5 hits may not fit the dominant nature of Gator softball, but head coach Kevin O'Sullivan is still happy with where his team is.
I don't know that there's anything I'd change right now. I think, it's hard to get hits. So you'd say, well, I'd like to see us get more hits. It's hard to get hits. So I just think just continuing to have productive at-bats and continuing to be, have a short-term memory. I think that's one thing we're trying to do is learn from your mistakes, but still have a short-term memory. It's not easy to get hits in this league. It's going to be very difficult to get hits the rest of the way with all the, the quality pitching we're going to see in the quality teams.
The Gators have a big test ahead of them. They travel to #6 LSU this weekend. And while baseball and softball are in full swing, Gator football is just now finding out what they have for 2016. There's a lot of new faces involved with the Gator offense heading into next season. A new starting quarterback and running back will be featured, but with the losses of Jake McGee and DeMarcus Robinson, paired with the uncertainty around Antonio Callaway's standing with the team, the receivers group might be the most unrecognizable at the moment. Some good news for Gator fans, though. A guy who's been mostly recognized as a bit of a disappointment is stepping up. According to head coach Jim McElwain, Ahmad Fullwood has been making an impact so far in spring ball.
That's been good to see. I just see the competitive nature that Ahmad has been practicing with. I think that'd probably be a guy that I would circle, kind of standing out a little bit.
McElwain also said he was happy with the whole team's performance in recent practices. Fans can see for themselves how the Gators are shaping up on April 8th in the orange and blue debut. And Florida Gymnastics is headed to the Minneapolis Regional in the NCAA tournament as they begin their quest to four-peat as national champs. Despite being the second-ranked team in the nation, the Gators won't be hosting their regional due to renovations going on in the O-Dome. Joining the Gators in Minneapolis will be Missouri, BYU, Ohio State, Denver, and host Minnesota. Florida is coming off a successful weekend in which they were crowned SEC champs, but they may not be the favorites heading into the tournament, which is surprising with the whole three-peat thing. That would be top-ranked Oklahoma. Regional play for the Gators is set for April 2nd. That'll do it for sports. Let's get one last check on the weather.
Well, it'll be a cold night, so bundle up when you head out the door. Temperatures will be falling into the mid-30s. We've got that frost advisory in effect for parts of North Florida tonight. That does include Alachua and Marion County. So enjoy tonight if you like the cold, because the warmer weather is on the way. We'll hit the mid-80s again by Thursday. Then those rain chances come back into the forecast on Friday through the weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. We'll be back tomorrow at 5, but your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.
Here on WUFT TV, BBC World News is up next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7 o'clock. Have a good night.